Well, welcome everybody to Conversations on Critical Operations. And today we're going to be talking to Fernando de Mello. He is a project manager at Terrios in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Good morning, Fernando.
Good morning, guys. Glad to be here.
Right. And we're also talking to Peter Murray. He is the industry principal for food and beverage and life sciences and a variety of others. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Nick, and good morning, Fernando. Nice to be here.
Can you describe what it's been like trying to get real-time data to your people in these days of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Okay. So we started up our journey to provide data to people a few years ago when we decided to move to Pi. Prior to that, we had most of our data were scattered in different places. So we had a LIMS system with quality and lab analysis. We have DCS across our 7 plants, but we really had a bad time when we needed to find some history data. Our DCS is we cannot store data for that long there. So whenever we had to troubleshoot, we lost a lot of time to get all the information. So we started investing on Pi infrastructure, and we did it as we started very small with only the main process variables from each site. We started expanding our infrastructure, and right before we had all this pandemic crisis, we had just finished doubling in size. So today we are at around 20,000 tags for the 7 plants in Brazil, and we also moved for this expansion, we moved our architecture from a local server to the cloud. So that boosted up a lot of it made a lot easier and faster for people to access the data.
Okay. And now along the way, you had found some issues in in making those moves, and we were able to help you out with that. Can you describe some of that?
Yeah, for sure. OSIsoft support team always helped us along the way. So from the beginning, they helped us developing our first architecture when we just started. And during all the moves, all the expansion moves we always had a close support from OSIsoft. They helped us actually build the current architecture. And it was something also new for them because I think that moving all the structure from a local server to the cloud is something that is not quite usual. So we found really some issues that weren't expected during this way, but we had a support team always helping us, and we were able to tackle all the obstacles we had in the way. So it was very good, and it's working very well now.
Okay, great. Now, if I understand, because you were no longer had local access to the plant, you ended up relying a lot more on other things, notifications, Pi Vision, and then did we help you do any of that kind of setup? Was that something that how did that work out for you?
Yes, we had a lot of training from OSIsoft to our team so that we could learn how to work with asset framework, with the event frames, and in the end the notifications. So we had a lot of help on how to build that, and today we are able to do this by ourselves, and indeed with all this pandemic, today we have a lot of people working from home, and they are able to receive notifications. They are able to access the real-time data from the plant. So it's making a lot easier for us to do remote troubleshooting even when working from home.
Coming back here to the current pandemic situation here with the COVID-19. And I think you touched a little bit on that. You said you have the ability to now work remote. Mm-hmm. And how many people are currently working remotely in Brazil today?
So today we have, fortunately, all of our 7 factories here of sugarcane, they're working fine. Plant operation teams, they are working on site, so there's really no way we can. They need to be at the plant with the operators. But we have from remote support teams, corporate areas. Today, I think it's between 400 and 500 people working from home now. Not all of them are linked to industrial operations, but several of those people, they need to have access to what's happening in the plant. So in this case, Pi is helping a lot on providing people information on what's happening on site. I have colleagues that work with me in the process engineering department that they do, even now that we are working from home, from time to time we have to do like support visit to the sites. And because we have access to the information remotely, we can, start doing the troubleshooting, part of the troubleshooting before. And when we can even be more assertive during the visits, so we know exactly where we should look at, and we are more assertive and to create the action plans.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Now I understand back in May, one of our customer service managers, Danilo, was able to actually do a webinar that had been, what was that, originally planned as a site training, but you ended up converting it to a webinar because of the
Yeah, this is a very good mentioning as well. It's part of the journey we are starting on maintenance. So really, you're right. We were thinking about doing a local training with Danilo, and because of the pandemic, we turned that into a webinar, and it was very successful because. In the end, I think the webinar would be the best choice because we were able to even increase our audience in the webinar. It's when we do local training or lectures with plant staff, it's usually very difficult to take them away from the operations and to gather them in a room to discuss things. So with the webinar, we were able to do that with the teams across the different sites. So it was a very good experience with the pandemic. And even after we passed all this tense moments we are facing now with the pandemic, even after we are over it, we believe that this culture of using webinars, I think we'll be using that a lot in the future.
Well, thank you so much, Fernando. Thank you for your.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate a lot the invitation. It was very glad to share with you our insights.
Yeah.
Great. And Petter, thank you so much for joining
thanks,
us.
Thanks, Nick, and thanks, Fernando. Great conversation.
Pleasure to be here with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, bye-bye, everybody. Thanks again. See you all next week. And again, thanks for joining us.